Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. The new expansion, Rise of the Shadows, is nearly upon us, so we can look at the cards. We're not quite there. I imagine either Tuesday or Thursday we'll be able to actually play the new cards and buy new packs and open the new packs. I guess you could spend money on packs. So to see the cards, you go into crafting mode, and then you click over here on the selector to Rise of Shadows. And then you click include uncraftable cards because the cards are uncraftable because they're not released yet. Last time we looked at Warlock and it didn't seem like much was interesting with Warlock. This time we're going to look at the Warrior cards. And then next time neutral cards, which will be a long journey certainly. So the first card we have is a 1 mana spell called Improve Morale. It's a common card. It deals 1 damage to a minion. If it survives, you add a lackey to your hand. As I understand it, lackeys are 1 mana, 1 attack, 1 health minions with a random assortment of abilities. Improving morale to get a lackey, probably not a good idea, but for warrior, there are a lot of sacrifice warrior cards or damage warrior cards that get buffs when they are damaged. So this might synergize pretty well with pre-existing warrior cards. Next we have a 2 mana spell called Sweeping Strikes. Give a minion, also damage minions next to whomever this attacks. Which, that's a weird way to phrase that, but and that's weirdly written, but it means you would apply this to a minion when he attacks something in the middle, a minion in the middle of the field. The minion to the left and the minion to the right will also take that amount of damage, which is a cool effect. Probably not worth having in your deck though, in all honesty. There will be very few times in which you find this card is worth having in your deck compared to so many other cards you could potentially have, depending on how many cards you have. It might be a fine card to play early in your career playing Hearthstone. Next we have a 2 mana, 2 attack, 2 health mech class minion called Vicious Scraphound. It's also a common. There are commons, there are rares, there are epics, and they just cost more. You can have 2 of any of the common, rare, or epics. It's just the legendaries that you can only have 1 of. So this is 2 mana, 2 attack, 2 health, mech class, Vicious Scraphound. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much armor. It's helpful to gain armor as a warrior, but there isn't a huge synergy with it quite yet. There was a long time ago with Shield Slam, but that card's not used. I think it's in Wild now. So yes, gaining armor helps. Doesn't win the game for you. There's no 1-turn kill you can use armor with. Next we have a 3 mana, 3 attack, 3 health mech character. There's been a lot of mechs in this expansion. Mech minion. Clockwork Goblin. Battlecry, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. When it's drawn, it explodes for 5 damage to your enemy's hero. This is a pretty good card. Yeah. Don't have anything bad to say about that one. Next we have a 4 mana spell called Dr. Boom's Scheme. Gain 1 armor. It upgrades each turn. You get this on the first draw. By the 4th turn you might add 5 armor. That might be worth it. Maybe not, frankly. Most of these schemes seem like they're less likely to be successful in many scenarios than they are to be successful or helpful. Next we have a 4 mana, 4 attack, 5 health minion, mech minion called the Omega Devastator. Omega class minions were introduced in, I believe, the previous expansion. Battlecry, if you have 10 mana crystals, deal 10 damage to a minion. That's fine, but again, probably not something you would want to play. Epic rarity. It probably wouldn't succeed as often as you think. And if you are playing this on the 10th turn, you are just getting a 4/5. yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the cards so far that really synergizes or adds anything. It seems like it's just going to give you a bunch more mechs for the warrior, which possibly the warrior was a little light in mechs. Next, we have the third weapon for the expansion, not a lot of them. 4 mana, 3 attack, 2 durability, called the Wrench Caliber, which it would be a caliper if it was a measuring device. So caliber speaks to quality as I understand it. After your hero's attacks, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. No mention of what the bomb will do, whether it will do 5 damage or a random amount of damage or what. I don't think the warrior would have a great way of adding durability to this, so you would probably, this is probably a fine card to play, but not something that's going to end in you succeeding because you played this. But interesting concept. At least it's doing something new and different, and it's introducing, these 2 cards are introducing the ideas of bombs being placed in your opponent's deck by a warrior pretty consistently. So we might see in the next couple of expansions more cards that say, yes, the warrior places bombs. He doesn't do secrets anymore. He places bombs instead, which would be fine by me. Next, we have a 7 minion, 7 attack, 7 health legendary minion, Blastmaster Boom. You can only have 1 legendary, remember, in your deck. As a battle cry, to summon 2 1/1 boom bots for each bomb in your opponent's deck. So now there's some synergy. So you play 2 copies of this, that's 2 bombs. You attack twice with this, that's 2 more. You play another copy of this and attack twice, that's 2 more. That would be potentially 6 bombs in your opponent's deck. 6 bombs in your opponent's deck would then be 12 1/1 boom bots, which you can only have 7 on the field, so at best there would only actually be 6 on the field because you'd play this and then there would be 6 slots at most on top of that. But I believe boom bots also do some kind of bomb damage to the hero when they die as a death rattle. So yeah, it's setting you up for some craziness. There's a synergy there, and it's a new way to play warrior, which is probably great because I've never really found a good way that I want to play warrior, frankly. It always seems like it's a little weird and just hard to wrap my head around and actually succeed with. So being able to do something different. There's a card that will also discard all the weapons that you have in your hand, and that minion will just get all the attack and durability and just be buffed up, and that's a pretty fun way to play warrior too if you don't have any better idea, but it doesn't win for you. Next, we have a 10 mana spell called Dimensional Ripper. This might actually be the first 10 mana card in the entire expansion also. Summon 2 copies of a minion in your deck. Again, I don't know what strategy you would play that would work in. That just seems really random. And then next, finally, we have a 10 mana, 7 attack, 9 health mech called the Boom Reaver. Battle cry, summon a copy of a minion in your deck and give it rush. It's probably fine, but again, no real strategy. Anytime you're randomly summoning cards into your deck, you've probably lost the plot. Meanwhile, getting this on the field early probably wouldn't happen. This having charge and +6 wind damage probably wouldn't happen. This hero replacement probably doesn't do anything. Destroy all damaged minions. That battle cry wouldn't trigger if you summoned it via spell. That wouldn't do anything. let's see, for the rest of the game your mechs have rush, so if you were going to play a bunch of mechs as warrior, then you played Dr. Boom Mad Genius, that might help you. Might be an idea to do dragons, but probably not. Brawl doesn't really change anything. Brawl's still a good card to play, but doesn't synergize with these new cards. The most amount of weapons are in the warrior class. This, whenever a minion takes damage, gain +1 attack. Still a good card to play, but doesn't really synergize. Damage minions getting buffed. Doesn't really do anything. Drawing weapons from your deck doesn't change too much. Let's see. Yeah. It really doesn't feel like too much has been changed with the warrior. See, the only thing I could think is maybe in this point, when you're playing wild, you would have a lot more weapons because a significant number of weapons have been put into wild. Maybe that one card, that one minion, weapons, he's like a neutral card. Here he is, he's in standard still. The Furnace Face Colossus, discard all weapons from your hand and gain their stats. 6 mana, 6 attack, 6 health. So if you have a weapon in your hand that has 3 attack and 3 durability, it becomes a 9/9. It can be powered up and attack pretty well, but it wouldn't be a one-turn kill or anything like that. Because he doesn't have charge. And then Shield Slam. Let's see. It's deal 1 damage to a minion for each armor you have. This was nerfed at some point, I believe, and it used to be deal 1 damage to anybody, not just a minion, for each armor you had. And that could have been a one-turn kill because you could have had 30 armor potentially and done 30 damage to your opponent. But yeah. Yeah, there's the Enrage class, but it's not even called that anymore. It's just when damaged. So, damage. Like, it used to be called Enraged has +3 attack, and they just changed it to has +3 attack when damaged in the phrasing of it. And so you could play a lot of those, and there's a couple of cards that work that way, but not a lot, really. Yeah. So I guess Warrior was still doing pretty good as far as its win ratio too. So next recording we're gonna have to go through all of these cards, which is about 30 I would guess, neutral cards, and then we'll be done looking at the new expansion. So far the new expansion seems pretty good, but it's definitely not changing a lot or making it a vastly different experience, and I assume that they probably couldn't get away with that. So anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.